Kentucky target Acaden Lewis is going to be committing on Saturday. What are the Cats' chances? How do we feel about it? That is what Carson and I are going to talk about on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Stefaniak, writer and editor over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI. Carson, how are we feeling about Acaden Lewis? Do we feel good? I feel pretty good. I want to hear your thoughts, and we'll talk about it. We'll also talk a little bit about Caleb Wilson.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think this one has probably been wrapped up since he came on his visit for Big Blue Madness.
Yeah.
But that's just what I was thinking. But we won't really see till Saturday. I think he'll be a Cat, and a lot of signs point towards that. I mean, you got a Branham crystal ball, which is pretty much the dagger. But I think it'll be a huge addition to Kentucky's class, and it's a big start for Mark Pope to be able to I mean, they list him as a 4-star. I think this kid's a 5-star. I mean, he's so talented. And he's a good true point guard. And it'll be interesting to have two lefties in the backcourt. Wonder when the last time we've had two lefties in the backcourt is. If anyone knows, leave that in the comments because I have no idea. But yeah, I do believe he'll be a Cat come 2:00 on Saturday.
I do too. I feel incredibly confident about that. Like, I think he's going to commit. I feel good about it. I mean, his other schools, it was like, Duke, the Twins, I think, are going there. So it's kind of like, well, you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense that he's going to commit to.
Yeah, no, the top three is UK, Duke, and UConn. And UConn got Mullins. And they have a bunch of other guys, and then Duke got the Boozer twins. So, yeah. I mean, if you're looking at number situations, the pretty easy guess would –
It makes sense. And, I mean, obviously Kentucky has Jasper Johnson, but he's more of a 2.
Mm-hmm.
This kid, you bring in Acaden Lewis, he's going to come in and he's going to immediately be your 1, and then you'll have Jasper Johnson as your 2. So I kind of like that, how the recruiting class kind of works itself out, to where you've got a player, especially if you land Wilson, because then you've got a point guard, a 2 guard, a power forward, and a center. And if that's how this class ends, I think that's got to make you feel pretty good.
I will say one more thing. There was a video surfacing around Twitter. I forget who tweeted it out. But it was Kaden and his dad basically breaking down his visits. And the portion where they talked about Kentucky, I thought this was interesting. When he was talking about how Mark Pope wanted to have the roster built for next season, he said that he wanted 5 returners, he wanted 3 guys from the portal, and 4 freshmen.
Yeah.
And Acaden was like that. He basically was comparing everything to Kentucky, which was a good look, and basically saying Kentucky was the best. So it really does seem like he'll be a Cat. But I thought that was interesting, also laying out the roster construction that Mark Pope has viewed for next season.
Yeah, that I mean, there is absolutely no question that, the way this is being laid out is really, really impressive for next year. And I think the verbiage that we've heard Acaden Lewis use in that video, it just feels like he's gonna commit. You know what I mean? It just feels like it. I feel confident in it, and I like the setup for next year's team. Well, like I just talked about, you've got a player at each position, you've got a talented, pretty much 5-star. You'll have Lewis will be the only 4-star if you get Wilson, and who you already got. Now that Moreno is officially a 5-star, but I just like the way that, works itself out. I think it's going to work out well. I think next year's team, Coach Pope at his press conference talked a lot about the wanting to have a mix of 5-star talent, transfer portal, veterans, older guys. He's talked about that. And I think next year gives him a chance to do that. And that fires me up. I think this year's roster is not how he wants a roster to look. You know what I mean? I think that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to give him some grace. He was only here for 3 months. He didn't really have a chance to recruit any of the 2024 class.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly no question. And obviously all the players that were committed followed, Calipari to Arkansas or went elsewhere, whatever.
Yeah.
But so yes, this year's roster, wow, we are excited about this team and we feel good about this team and, are fired up about what this team is going to look like. I really do kind of look at this and I say to myself, I think that this is going to be great, but what he's going to put together next year is going to be even better because you're going to have that NBA level talent on top of the veteran leadership and the veteran, probably ball handlers and everything you want there, the NCAA tournament experience. You're going to have all that while having the young guys. And that is what should have, Kentucky fans fired up about this year and then fired up about next year in the future as well.
While having people stay that have played with Pope for a year. So Travis and Trent probably will stay. They've played under Pope for a year so they can teach the new guys the system and help them learn. So I'm loving where this is going right now.
Yeah. Pour one out for the Godfather. Pour one out. He's not going to be able to attend Interstellar watching tomorrow.
Oh.
Dead and gone.
Great.
Oh, I've been hiding for way too long.
Oh, is that Justin Timberlake?
Yes, it is. I appreciate that. Pour one out. But the way this team has worked itself out for this year in the way that Coach Pope, the direction he has for the future of this program has me excited when it comes to the recruiting trail. So now let me ask you this, Carson. How do you feel about Wilson? How do you feel about that recruitment?
Yeah, I mean, I would still tab Kentucky as a leader for Wilson as well. I mean, with all the media publicity of them, Acaden and Caleb wanting to play together, I just feel like that ties along well, and that's what Kentucky wants, right? I mean, like I just said, they want 4 freshmen, so Caleb would definitely be the 4th in that situation if he commits here. But I still feel really good. Now it's recruiting. It's fluid, like we always say on the show. Yeah. So anything can happen. I think he still will visit Arkansas, so that's always the question mark. Cal, they'll negatively recruit against us for sure. So it'll be interesting to see after that visit where we stand. But for me, I think it'll take a lot to sway Caleb's mind right now.
Yeah. I feel good about Caleb Wilson too. I really do. Not as confident as Kaden. I mean, in my mind, and I don't want to, here's the deal. We'll look like total morons if somehow something happens with the Kaden, but I mean, I feel like he's already committed. Like you said,
that's my thing. Yeah. Of course we feel better about Kaden because we both feel like Kaden probably is already in the fold.
Yeah. And so then it's going to come down to this class. I'd be fired up with this class regardless of what, I mean, you want Wilson, but this is a great class.
If you don't get Wilson, you just pivot towards Stefaniak and try to go get him. And
although the only thing about him is I feel like he's getting close to a decision too. And I feel like if we miss on Wilson, it'd be hard to get back in that. I mean, I know we're still.
I could see a possibility of a way of making it work.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it would make it a lot harder to get back in there because I'd say we've lost ground just because we're so focused on Wilson.
Chances are probably I would put honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. I put an 80% chance right now that we get both of those guys.
Yeah, I'd say that we get Acaden Lewis, I'd say 9.99 out of 10, and then Wilson, I'd say 7.5 out of 10 is be my confidence levels as we sit currently. So now I want to talk a little bit, Carson, about the game coming up this evening, and I'm going to have to just go ahead and pull up the name of this school because it is something else. Okay. They won the Division II National Championship last year. We know that. Oh, it just says Minnesota State. I thought they had like a weird name after it.
I don't know.
Yes, they do, bro. It's like I'm telling you, there's something there. There's something I'm thinking of. But so this game against last year's D2 Natty champs,
national champs, respect them.
Yeah, I mean, the goal. This will be a game where people can. And here's the deal. Say what you want. That team's beating a lot of Division I teams.
Oh, yeah. They're beating a good amount of Division I teams.
Yeah. If I am Louisville, I'm really scared if they're if they're coming into town. But so I mean, what are your thoughts on this game, Carson? What do you want to see?
Yeah, I want to see a continuation of good ball movement, of course. I think that is key, especially early on, establishing that chemistry. I think that'll be the biggest thing. Keep moving the rock. And honestly, you played a pretty flawless game last game. So if you can continue on the path that you're on, I see great things coming. So
Yeah.
I'd say just a continuation of what you saw last game. You're really going to want to play good defense against these guys. But all in all, it's crazy to say and it's weird to say, but I'd just say keep it up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I don't. I think that the way you look at this game, the goal should be to find a way to just repeat in a way and not repeat. You're not going to be this team by, what was it, 7? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But if you could make it ugly, I'd feel a lot better about the future. I mean, the point, what you want to see is this team shoot in that 30 to 43-point range. You'd love to see them make 15 to 20 of them. We'll see. That's not going to happen every game. And the games that doesn't happen, you probably are gonna lose some of those games this year. But looking at this, I just think that should be the goal. You want to see down low Amari and Carr and Garrison continue to play well and do things well and look dominant down there. You want to see the good ball movement. You want to see people cutting. You want to see the threes falling. But most importantly to me, what I want to see is solid defense. That's what I want to see in this game is elite defense.
I agree. It'll be interesting to see if Kerr plays as well.
Yeah, I talked about it. I wrote an article about it when he didn't play the day. I have a feeling I'm not concerned yet about Kerr. I really do.
I'm not either. I'm just more of the fact of wanting to see him on there, see how we play.
Yeah, like if this was game, I agree. If I'm Coach Pope, I want him out there to see some outside competition before game one.
That and I mean, you can develop chemistry in practice, but it's completely different in an on court situation. So
yeah,
it'll be nice for him to get out there with his teammates and build some of that early on before we actually start games.
Like, do I think that he'll play against Wright State on the 4th? I do. I'm not really concerned about it. But at the same time, do I want him to be able to get some game action and get the feel of another team and see some threes go down and pass ball? I'd love to see that for him because I just think that'll help him in the long run. So I'm not concerned about the injury long term. It's more of you'd love for him to get a little feeler game before the season gets going, especially, you'd like him to play a little bit of hoop before we get going for the Duke game.
The good news is he's a senior, so he already understands the speed of the college game, so that won't be anything new to him.
Yeah, but Coach Pope hasn't seen him, I've heard. So I but no, I agree. You'd like to see Kerr get out there and play a little bit. I think that would help too. But that's what I want to see, Carson. I want to see more good defense. I want to see take care of the basketball. Those are the things that you can take away from games. The threes aren't always going to fall. They're not. That's going to happen. Sometimes teams are going to make some crazy threes with a hand in the face. That's going to happen too. The things that you can always do, that you always got to make sure you're doing, is passing the ball, great ball movement, getting the ball to open shooters, making the extra pass, playing hard defense. Those are the things you can control. Those and taking care of the basketball, not turning it over. Those are the things you can always control. You can't always control if the threes are going down, stuff like that. Control what you can control. Always. Prove that you can do that in this game, and I'll feel good heading into the actual regular season, which begins on the 4th against Wright State.
Yeah.
So, Carson,
the nail on the head there.
Give me a final score prediction here, and give me your player of the game, and then we will call it a day here in a few minutes. So,
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the Cats break 100 again. I just think we play so fast and get so many shots up. I think we win 105 to I think we play good defense again. I'll say 75. I think we beat them by 30 points. I think the MVP is going to be Amari Williams. because I think his physicality against teams like this will be so crucial.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is I think that we're going to continue to, while we're, you know, and I haven't looked at the size of this team. I'm getting ready to write like a little preview thing, but so I'll do that here in a minute. But, you know, everyone's going to assume you play a team like this, you're going to hammer them down low. What I think needs to happen is you need to keep, like I said, after the game the other day, I told you, Carson, I said, keep hammering the threes. Don't change what you're doing because this team's a little smaller. Play your game.
No, and you don't have to. That's the thing. When you have an Amari Williams at the center position, you can throw it down low, and then they have to double team him, and then everybody's open.
Exactly, and that's how we're going to play all year. But keep playing your game. You know what I think is going to happen tonight? And he played well the other day, but I think Kobe Bryant is going to have his kind of game. I think he's going to have a good game. And he shot the ball the other day.
You know who my sneaky one is today? Because he didn't have the best game. I think Colin Chandler has his, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah. I'd love to see him do that against outside competition because obviously he played well in the blue-white game, but it'd be great to see him do it against other teams where it's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So I think Kobe Bryant has a big game. I think the Cats, I don't think the threes are going to fall like they did the other day. I think they're going to fall at a rate where we're happy but not stoked. And I think Kentucky wins this game like 87-64, something like that, 62. So, I mean, this is the equivalent of playing a smaller Division I team. I mean, this is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not far off. So
no, this team is really good.
So that's what I'm saying. Really so anybody, if Kentucky does win this game by 50, and anyone's like, man, just don't even respond. Don't even respond to that. Don't even. So Carson, any other thoughts on this game before we call it a day here, old buddy?
No, but I do have some other kind of off-topic points. But so there was 2 scrimmages that I paid attention to this past weekend. Duke beat Arizona State by it seemed like 100. And then Arkansas beat Kansas. What are your takeaways from those 2 games?
I didn't watch much of Duke, but we watched a good chunk
of the
Arkansas-Kansas game, and it's going to be annoying. That's gonna be annoying. They played well. I
think Arkansas played good. Boogie looked really good. DJ
Dickinson
looked really
didn't play, right?
The 3 best players for Kansas didn't play.
No, and we're not trying to make excuses. Arkansas played well. We're not going to take.
We're
not taking this away from Arkansas.
And honestly, it actually made me pretty happy to see DJ Wagner killing it. Like seeing our guys play that well. It is cool to see.
Yeah. So, but I mean, here's the deal: Arkansas is going to be good. Arkansas is going to be really good, man. They're going to be really good, especially if Z and Wagner and Adu take that next step. Arkansas is scary quickly. Britain, when they brought in that guard and then the young guys, I mean, Boogie Flan looked awesome. Arkansas is going to be good, man, and we knew they were going to be good. It now comes down to Calipari and coaching. You've got the talent in the team, and he.
Well, here's my fear for them. My fear is that Adu will come back and they'll sit Z and play Adu. When, in my opinion, I think Z is the better big. For the modern game of basketball.
Agreed. I mean, you all know my those of you that have been listening to the Wildcats Today podcast for a long time know that we are a
huge Big Z fans.
I love Big Z. I think he's great.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. But college basketball is going to be fun this year, Carson. There's going to be a lot of good teams. There's going to be a lot of good
teams. And Duke, I'll say one more thing about them. They played Arizona State, who had a previous recruit of ours, Jaden Quaintance. He looked pretty good for Arizona State, even though they got blown out. And Duke looked pretty good. Cooper Flagg struggled a little bit, but I mean he's a freshman. That's normal. I don't want to butcher this guy's name, but his name I think is it Con or Nipple for Duke? It's
the
like
freshman, the center.
Yeah,
Malachuk
no, not the center. Like not the center. He's a guard.
I don't know. All I know right now is
KONKNE like UPPLE. But I don't know the pronunciation for it. But he looks like he could be an X factor for them. He looks like someone that you wouldn't expect to be really good. Kind of like he was ranked a little bit lower, like a Reed Shepherd type of burst. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Reed Shepherd by any means, but just someone to look out for when we're getting ready to play them. So a lot of good basketball over the weekend, and hopefully more soon. But I do want to speak on one thing before we completely close off. Kentucky played Auburn this past weekend in football.
Oh. I thought we weren't. So what happened in not talking about this?
Well, we have to because
we suck. We lost. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I just wanted a little short segment.
We suck. We
Yeah,
lost.
Kentucky loses to Auburn 24-10, and it seems like there's just a lot of confusion coming out of Kentucky's camp, right? It seems like we don't really know what's going wrong at this point, but there's a lot that is going wrong. You're the only team in the SEC that. What was that?
I said we suck. We lost. We'll see y'all on Thursday. How about that?
Kind of. But we are the only team in the SEC that has not scored over 21 points in an SEC game. So a lot going wrong. I don't really know what there is to do at this moment.
There's no answer. The quarterbacks are all bad. It's simple as that. You have no good quarterback play. If you don't have good quarterback play.
I mean, we can't use this excuse every year. As in offensive coordinator, quarterback. I mean, have we just gotten unlucky with quarterbacks for our whole
Will Levis was great. Leary was bad. These
No,
guys.
yeah, when you have good quarterbacks like Will Levis and Terry Wilson and Bo Allen, Will Levis, Bo Allen, Terry Wilson, you do good. But when you, it is true, when you do struggle at quarterback position, it's hard to win football games. But there's a lot that needs to be fixed, and hopefully Stoops can fix it, because, I mean, I don't necessarily want him gone. He's brought a lot of joy to this program and brought this program from the gutter. But if there can't be changes, then maybe we'll have to change.
Well, he'll be able to think about that in Bora Bora during the bowl season. So,
hey, one fun stat to leave us today.
Okay.
Kentucky has not made a Final Four since 2015. And that was the last time Kentucky did not make a bowl game. So,
what would you rather, Final Four or a bowl game? And
leave it in the comments. Final Four or bowl game.
If your answer is bowl game, why? Why? I mean, why do we want to see him play in the All-State, Liberty, Geico, Mayonnaise, Music City Bowl?
What would you take? Would you take making the 12-team playoff or a Final Four?
Final Four.
Final Four. No, I think I would probably take that as well.
Because I don't think Kentucky basketball football, you can yell, everyone can yell at me. I'm a hater. It'll never get to that level of once you get to the playoff, they're just going to lose the first game or the second game.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that, because you have to win enough games in the SEC to make that. That's the only reason I think that.
Play Alabama and Georgia and, a ton. You know what I mean? Like the schedules have been easy historically. You play Georgia every year But
I'm saying nowadays, like if you go and you beat Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss, like those are 3 good wins. Like you would feel confident against like an Appalachia State if they somehow Group 5 made the playoff. You know, but I see what you're saying too.
It's like I'd rather go to Final Four we can actually win than go to the playoff and lose to freaking Texas by 150.
Yeah, and there's only 4 teams in the Final Four and 12 in the
so I'm saying. So that's my thoughts.
But that's all I got today.
On Thursday, we will recap the game from tonight, talk about it. We'll also hear from Coach Pope. We'll have a press conference, so we'll be able to talk about all that stuff. That'll be Thursday's show. Appreciate y'all stopping by. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, that helps the show a ton as well. We will see y'all on Thursday. Have a great day. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see y'all next time.